Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the Back of the Bus session.
Hello and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today I'm absolutely buzzing. It's taken us a bit too long to get to this moment here, man. As I said before, I'm going to swear now, I am wank on social media.
But everything happens in time on time, doesn't it? That's
already
that's the crux of it, mate. Bottom line, no matter how much you like it or dislike it, that's the fact, innit?
So that's it. Welcome aboard, Jordan, aka J Littles.
Yeah, man, I'm here. Finally, we made it to the
We
promised
go
land.
mad on here, baby. Now, genuinely, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, mate, honestly, it's an honour because, like I was saying earlier, like you get an idea of what it looks like from watching the pod. I've seen when you was doing your work and stuff, when you was putting the stage together and things like that. Because my two friends, Ty and Nate, did their thing
Cool.
thing
What
here,
a-
local healers, mate.
what a
Yeah,
gig.
that looks so much fun. Because it was my friend's birthday that day, and Nate was messaging me, and he said, "Yeah, come here," and that's when I ended up in Risley.
Oh, so,
Yeah,
mate.
'cause
So
he
you
said-
tried to get here,
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
And
I tried to get here, and
bless
then
you.
by the time I realised where he said it was, it was late. It was like 11 o'clock, and I was like,
they were just closing down then as well.
So,
And we're in a spot where we're out the way, but there are still houses around, so you can't keep pumping it till 1 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
Apart from my sister's wedding, which was last week, and they did, and it's the only shit we've ever had.
Yeah, yeah.
People, I go to the gym and like, right, Mikey, come here, need a word with you.
but you take that one on the chin for a wedding, won't you?
For
You
a
know what I
wedding,
mean?
baby.
You know what I mean?
But today,
Yes.
you've been doing interesting things in the community work projects.
Yeah. So
I want to hear about this because we've had, mate, an amazing chat already.
I know.
About an hour.
We've had an off-cam pod already.
And I feel like Bez is. I really do. I'm going, whatever your mission you're on, sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So we've been doing this thing. It's called Insight Community Project, and it started with my two mates, Henry and Owen. Shouts out Henry and Owen. Shouts out Insight, and this came from a project they put together. We was talking about it today, and it was 3 years ago, and I was like, you're just like, what? 3 years already? So they had this thing called Off the Rail. So Owen and one of his brothers and some of his family got into like skating and stuff like that. And in Long Eaton, there's a big skate park on West Park, and like within my circle of friends, we've got DJs, we've got MCs, we've got people that do bits of art, dance, skating, blah blah blah.
Wow.
So all this stuff got chucked together, and at the time I was just giving them a little hand with it and whatever, and just put together this big event, just one day in the summer.
That was all it was going to be. One day.
Yeah. And from that, I think it got rained off in the end. Like, lo and behold, you know what I mean?
Good old UK weather.
You know what I mean? And so from then, that sparked certain conversations, like for things to go on further down the line. And then Henry and Owen did another thing similar to what we're doing now in another area in Long Eaton, like the rough part of Long Eaton called Petersham, where they work with young kids and tried to do multi-sport and things like that. And that was successful. And so off the back of that, obviously they came to the realization that like there's no one that's actually doing anything around this way. So like Long Eaton it's NG10, but it's still classed as Derbyshire.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to get all your funding and stuff in Nottingham, there's all sorts going off in Nottingham. It's like, especially for young people and stuff like that, and it's like there's certain people that have kind of got their hands in the pots already.
And when you're in a pot, that's kind of you sorted, isn't it? Then?
But luckily enough, falling under that Derbyshire category, it doesn't seem to be much
100%
at all. And I think one of the main advantages of it, I would definitely say, is the fact that the young black men, and they give him, because it kind of started off because like urban culture these days, it's something that a lot of young people follow, no matter where they come from, and I think they kind of use that to their advantage in a way, and so they was kind of just given a chance. So they did this thing in Petersham, and that was quite successful. So then they put in for some more funding for a summer camp. So that's what I've ended up getting involved in.
Wow.
it all happened like by chance. Like I had an issue at work that meant I was off work for 4 weeks, and the 4 weeks just so happened to be from the start of the summer camp to today when it ended.
Wow.
I've just came from the last one just
Dude.
now, and literally we've had between, I'd say, late 20s to mid 30s kids. Not in age, in numbers.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I'd love to be a 30-year-old kid.
I was. I mean,
Yeah.
I probably had more fun than them. And the thing that struck me the most was it was the same kids that came every day.
Huh.
So you got to see new friendships made and things like that. And the fact that all the same kids wanted to kind of come back said a lot. And so from Mondays to Thursdays, that's what we've been doing. We've been doing multi-sports. We've got a thing called the Sky Trail. It's almost like a small Go Ape type thing, where like you got some little obstacle course with your harness and you're balancing on these beams
Bloody
and
good
stuff
fun
like
as
that.
well, innit, Go
I
Ape?
went on it once. I'm scared to death of fucking heights, mate. Honestly, I was on there first, grabbing onto the pole. I was like, I'm not going nowhere. By the end of it, I actually completed it, and all the kids were like, John. So it was like, yeah, it was a moment that was for me. But no, honestly, it's been wicked. It's been wicked.
This sounds great. And do you know at the start of the podcast when you said things happen as they happen when they're supposed to happen?
Yeah.
What was the actual saying? You said it good.
Everything happens in time, on time.
Whew, I'm taking that.
I can't remember.
I've
nicked that from a film
I
or
said
something.
it in the
It's
most
not mine.
convoluted way then, but
It happens
could you
at a certain
imagine
time when it meets the...
if mine was sort of like when I die and it's on my gravestone? It's going to be an expensive gravestone. But that's crazy because you being here today, you know, I feel we're going to collaborate from this through
Oh,
this.
definitely. Yeah.
Because me and my partner Chrissy, we're busy in lots of different avenues, but we're not just sort of sold on one. We want to try it all out. We like the events, we like the workshops. I love doing the podcast the most at the minute, and I've got the music side. It's all sort of like spinning plates.
Yeah.
But just from doing that and posting up a lot, we had the council in touch recently, and the police have just given a pot of money to us, and we haven't even have to put out for that. They've come to us, so just saying, we saw you on social media, we've not seen much going on like that, we want to see what you can do. So we've got our first meeting on Monday, but that's it. All the kids are coming already. They're just like, yeah, you're having it.
Have you got an idea in terms of numbers?
So yeah, it's going to be very similar, and guess what I called it?
What?
Off the brakes.
That's
Dude, that's why, because my concept,
That's mental.
dude, it's madness.
That's
And that's
crazy.
why I had to come up there. I was listening in going, I love this man. There's some reason it's together, because what I got kicked out of my schools. I did not do well at school at all.
Yeah, same.
Got told I was dyslexic really early on, and then no coping mechanisms or help behind it. It was just like, well, you're an idiot. Deal with it. You've got a predisposition. Don't turn it into a superpower. Just keep it as a problem.
Superpower, you know.
Yeah, and I would have really helped having that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've managed to get out of school with a lot of problems, a lot of mistakes made. I went travelling and I found poetry. It was through losing a friend I found it, but it came to me. And in that, I was going to loads of schools then, teaching it and giving workshops.
Oh, sick. Yeah, man.
I did that for about 2 years, but after it all, I just felt I've done it now. I love it. I'll still keep going in when I feel I can, but I was going to Cornwall, I was going to all over.
Yeah.
I was a bit tired after a while, and I've got my daughter, got my partner, and I was just thinking I prefer to be at home, really. I love travelling, but it's just so much. And do you know when you've done a workshop and you've got your adrenaline up here, and then you're driving 5 hours home?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
And the idea was, I want to bring a space to Ripley, because my philosophy from Ripley was always, there's F all to do. Nothing goes on.
Yeah.
And the best quote ever given to me, ingrained in me through life, was, if there's not a scene, make a scene. I loved it. It was on a flight that I was going to South Africa, and this really old fellow who I thought, oh, don't put me next to it. Oh, here he comes. Oh, of course, he's next to me. It was the best encounter.
Do you know what? Yeah, I always kind of, if you find yourself in a situation such as that, I don't know, just from seeing things on films and things like that, if I encountered someone like that for whatever reason, an old person will sit next to me.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I'm very private. I'm very, if you see me and you don't know me, I know that I look a little bit unapproachable to a certain extent, and I keep myself to myself a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Outside of people that know me and that I'm close to. But you see, in situations like that, if I'm if I was, say, on a bus or a train or whatever, and an old person sat next to me, that would get my brain ticking. Like, this old person's sitting next to me for a reason. I may not initiate conversation, but I always allow for the possibility of that to kind of come about, because
great attitude.
you can learn. So, because I used to just go around to my to my grandma's, and I used to just sit there and just ask her questions, and just because obviously she got to a certain age, couldn't really walk and stuff. She was always in the house, and she was like the boss of my family. You know what I mean? She's been here since like the 60s.
Wow.
From
good
Jamaica.
old days.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, a lot of my knowledge and understanding and a lot of my ways just literally come from
older wisdom.
Just sitting there and just like waiting for a little gem.
Wow.
Waiting for her to say something. Do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of things that I take from her. A lot of little sayings and stuff.
When we go into your music, I bet she's going to come back round, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
Just on that project front, again, I'm really happy now. I'm so proud of where we've got to, approachable, wanting to work within our community and give them little ideas of, the world isn't just this one-way direction that you may have been grained and told. And that's it. We have 8-week course, and I'll be transparent on here. We're not making a bag out of it, because my vision was, like yourself, I've got so many incredible people that I want to give them that experience to. So, like Motormouth and...
Yeah, Alex.
Alex, of course. The local healers. Yeah. We've got Harley come in. I've got Project Zeus, incredible band, really good mates. Circle of Light and...
Oh, yeah. So, the guy that I work with, Claude Money, he works with... the gentleman that owns the studio that I record at, Circus Studios. I think he's kind of overseeing the Circle of Light project, because it's got Scorsese in it as well. Yeah. Because so in amongst me making my latest project, obviously I've heard word of like what's going on with the Circle of Life and stuff. So
is that the one I've listened to?
Yeah.
Wicked. I love it, man. I love it. Really excited about that.
Yeah.
But that's it. We got this 8-week course, and then anyway, we've not done anything yet. The first one was this Monday coming, and we've got like a really fun actor, and I wanted the first one to be drama, because everyone meets each other, and it's not that drama at school drama. It's fun, movement, icebreakers. But then it's going to be 20 to 30 kids, 11 to 18, and we're going to split it, because me and Chrissy have got our creative side, then the main workshopper, and then we're going to swap every hour, so they've got something going off.
What's the you like starting and finishing times each day?
6 till 8.
Flipping it.
Yeah, 6 till 8.
That's nice. That's good. That is. Yeah.
The great thing is, as I said, not done anything. They called us the other day and were like, "We're going to do another 20 weeks of this." And just straight up, they're like, we know it's going to go well.
Do you know what we had? Was it not yesterday, the day before? We had a scientist come.
Really?
So Henry got in touch with this scientist guy that he knows, and so we was using the Long Eaton Rugby Club's facilities. They was really kind to us, let us use the kitchen and stuff to prepare food and things like that. So when we're like making the food, they had all the kids sat in like the main room, and then the rugby club also have a summer camp, but that's for like, I'd say 5 to 8 year olds maybe. So we was like, oh, you lot can just come and watch it.
Sick.
And honestly, they was all blown away. And like, obviously he's breaking down all the different components and elements and things of that nature. But all they wanted to see was some shit bubble up and loads of smoke come out of a glass jar.
Mate.
And honestly, they was going mental for it. It was really good.
Mate.
And it's something that I would never have thought of to kind of implement into something like a summer camp. Honestly, they've done it all.
Yeah.
They've literally done it all.
And I'm feeling a buzz now.
Yeah,
already, we're 20 minutes in.
Already.
And I've spoke to you for an hour, and in my head made a plan with you in it.
Yeah.
I'm there already. I'm going, I love this guy, and I can see it really buzzing around here because, that has been the philosophy grained into me from going to my local school, Mill Hill, having a disgusting time there. It was just a bullying factory, and that mainstream education view. I know there's so many different schools with different ideas.
Yeah.
But they rammed that sort of sheep hurdle, cast everyone in doing the same thing. If you're creative, you can bugger off or whatever. You're a bit active or ADHD, maybe, whatever it is. No, fit this mould or you're out.
Yeah.
And I was straight out, man. I struggled.
So when did you leave school? What year?
10.
Yeah, I just stopped going to school in
Really?
year 10, yeah. I became a bit of a rebel from like the age like 15. I started going to nightclubs when I was 15.
Sick.
And
Same.
and
Fake ID or they just let you in? New people?
It was that. I used to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. If you've seen a picture of me when I was 15, there's no chance she'd let me in anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, no facial hair, nothing.
That's hilarious.
Long and skinny, that was it.
Because I was the only one out of a lot of us that had a fake ID.
Yeah.
But I never got asked for it because that's the laughter lines, I think. But it's so funny, man. I mean, I got asked to stay out for a bit in year 10. Then the exams were coming up and I was working from home a bit. So they let me keep intermittently going in and out and doing bits and bobs. But they didn't want me there. And I just learned to sort of cram. And I did. It's funny because they let me take my exams. And I just had to sit at home and cram it all in. And I just read the book and write it all out and so on. But in that time, I was going out all the time with this ID. But I remember me and my lads, mates, we went to Magaluf at 16.
Magaluf, you know.
Yeah, you know it.
I think I've been in a stag do maybe there.
It was hilarious. And so I'm with 6 of my mates. And we're all around the pool and you're doing that thing where you're with girls and you're saying, oh, how old do you think we are? And then all of them are going around, you're definitely about 16, you're about 14, you're about 17 at a push. They get to me and they're like, everyone was the same. 27? Every time. So I've just looked really old through life. I don't know why. It's I hope it's ancient wisdom ingrained in there.
That's what it is.
That's what I'm going for.
It is. Nothing less than that.
Bark, deep-rooted tree. But yeah, honestly, man, absolutely excited about that. And if we can talk more,
because again, we had some people come down to visit us from the council. Like I say, I am now part of it, but it's Henry and Owen's thing. I've just ended up being involved now.
I bet the kids love you though.
Do you know what I mean?
Do
you know what was wicked? There was a brother and sister that they were like 2 of the older ones, and they was kind of really helpful with certain things, integrating other kids and stuff like that. And because they was like really athletic, good at all different sports and stuff, and they were just a pleasure to have.
Just bring the mic a little. Perfect.
Yeah, it was just a pleasure to have, and then I was just sitting down, literally just to get a cup of water. Tapped me on my shoulder. They had a box of chocolates and a card for me. Wow. And I was like, "Yeah, that's wicked, man." Do you know what I mean?
And had you made a big connection with them then? You felt, or were you quite shocked by that?
With quite a lot of them, to be fair, and because Owen's 2 sons attended the camp, so their friends were all involved. Owen's sister worked in the kitchen for us, so her daughter and her friends were all involved. So there's a lot of people that knew each other, but then at the same time there was a lot of people that didn't know anybody. And then everyone just ended up like, our kids do when they're best mates after 2 weeks, aren't they?
What's your advice for us then? Do you know in that initial meeting where they're all a little bit frosty and unsure of each other? We've got that drama guy coming in to sort of play name games and stuff and run around. They've got a big field, but just have to get them involved in anything as early on as possible. It's And have you had quite reluctant ones?
We had a couple that were just bystanders for the most part in the early days. Like when we first started it a few weeks ago, they didn't really want to do nothing. They just sit there and not really want to play anything. And 2.5 weeks into it, they've got a new best mate. They've got someone else who they've found that they've got similarities to them or into the same sort of things or whatever. Then it's like after a couple of weeks you start to notice certain characteristics in people and stuff like that, and then you realise why one person is always with another person and stuff like that. So for me, because we'd allow people to do the things that, just there was various options of what they wanted to do, from little art and crafts bits, football, basketball. We had a wicked game of dodgeball on the basketball court.
Oh,
we
mate.
took the whole basketball court and ordered some like this big crate of dodgeballs.
Yeah.
So we emptied them, and like one team gets a load, another team gets a load, and we're just there. I had no shoes on, just running around this basketball court, just lobbing dodgeballs at 11-year-olds.
Mate, no, it doesn't matter how old you are in life as well. It's hard to take that punch out your throat, innit?
Honestly. You know, when you see one from a distance, so you've seen the film Dodgeball as well. I mean, you see one from distance and you try and put that spin on it.
I'm not making it. This must have been 5 or 6 years ago because it was on a date. So I went with Chrissy at the time, and we went to Planet Bounce.
Oh yeah.
Just for this date, it was the last date because we were bouncing around, and they have dodgeballs up there, and I was probably from me to the back of the bus away, so 5 foot. And I launched it at her, and it went sock in the face, and it didn't break her nose, but like she had blood coming out, and I just couldn't. She took it really well, but maybe because I embarrassed the hell out of her.
Yeah.
She was like, "No, it's fine." Inside, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yeah. That's true.
It's just my animalistic nature just got in hold of me, and I was like, "Bomb!"
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, bless, man.
The one thing they became obsessed with in the end was one bounce. Out of all the things we had, was in a circle, kicking the ball up, one bounce, 2 touches, you've got 3 lives. Honestly, I took it serious. I ended up being the all-out champion. I was playing no games.
Even with the ACL the way it is.
Yeah.
You were running about, not messing.
Do you know what? You ignore it. Do you know when you're having fun? You ignore. But if I put a pair of football boots on, I think I'd shit myself.
Yeah.
If I went into a game, I think I'd shit myself.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm just messing around with kids, just showing them I've still got it. It can do a little flick over the back and got a nice little touch still. But I'm still scared to kick with the left, if I'm honest.
Well, let's go on to the football days a bit because I'll tell the audience this. It's a lovely anecdote. You just arrived, got here, and then we're having a great chat, and my phone goes, and I realise it was one of my good mates who is having his ACL replaced, potentially in a few weeks because he's just had his call up. And I was like, I've just got to go and talk to my mate because I'm giving him some advice about ACL. And I just had it 3 months ago. The audience will know that listen to this because I don't stop going on about it. But Jordan literally went, I had mine done. Pulled his trousers up and it looked pretty bad, man. I mean, mine,
it's nasty,
I'm not going to keep going on about mine after yours because yours looks horrendous. You've had it done. So we ended up having a really good chat with my mate on loudspeaker about what he should do for his recovery and X, Y, and Z. But you played football from 10 years old?
No, from 6 years old.
6 years old. So talk to me about your football journey and when did the bad shit happen?
Yeah, when did it come to an end?
Yeah.
Flipping heck. I mean, so football was always something that from as soon as I was old enough to kind of recognise what it is that I was into, got into football. So how I actually got into actually playing for a football team, I was walking to school one day with my mum. Must have been 5 or I was either 5 or 6 anyway, and I jumped in a puddle and splashed this woman and her son. Fast forward, the woman ends up being my youngest sister's godmother.
Oh, and wow.
To this day, her son is like one of my oldest friends. Like,
there's a lot of serendipity in your life, son.
Yeah, honestly. And so from then, obviously, my mum must have got talking to his mum and whatever. Obviously, we'll go to the same school. He was a year above me. And yeah, basically, it turned out we lived through the alleyway on the next street from them.
Wow.
And so his dad was a football manager of a club called Pelican Colts from Bilborough. Everyone in Nottingham knows about Pelican Colts. If you played for anybody if you played football in Notts on a Saturday afternoon, you knew about Pelican Colts.
Yeah.
That was one of the teams. So from became pally with Ashley, and then started going football training with him. At this time, I liked football, but I wasn't any good at football.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So just started training and stuff like that, and then shortly after that, I started playing for a team called Pegasus in the Young Elizabethan League on a Sunday. That was a derby league.
I know, I know Pegasus. I played with,
mate,
honestly. Man.
So I played with
struck a chord.
Yeah. So are you a Derby fan then, by any chance?
Not a Derby fan, an anti-Derby fan.
Oh,
actually.
really? Who do you support then?
let's not go there, man. Well, luckily for me, I love football.
Yeah.
But my dad was a semi-pro, played for Hena and Alfreton and X, Y, and Z. He's ingrained the football mentality into me.
Yeah.
But he was a big Forest fan for most of his life.
Right.
Diminished from that after he stopped playing. And now my sister's partner is from London and a huge Arsenal fan. Huge. And he's brought it into our home. So I must say, every time they're on, and we've been down to the Emirates a lot, we go and watch them, and I like seeing them do well. So
I mean,
I'm lucky, man.
I mean, we'll get
it goes to levels. I love Arsenal. My dad's really into it and gets angry when they lose. I'm not that bad. And Pete, my sister's partner, is on a rope at the minute.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Is that your team?
That's my team.
Oh, brother.
Like
we're in now then.
But yeah, so back to Pegasus. I played with a guy who ended up being pretty much a Forest legend, Lewis McGugan.
Okay.
Yeah. So he played for my team, and I'm like best friends with his brother and stuff now.
Wow.
Like, everything just ties in, man. It's quite weird. But yeah, so that was he was a year younger than us in our team, so he played a year above himself, and he was at Forest from like the age of like 9.
Wow.
And fast forward a few years, I started playing for Pelican on a Saturday. I started then playing the year above myself, and I actually ended up playing for Forest myself.
Wow.
Only for a short period, only for like 6 months or something like that. And then I got released when like the managers changed and whatever. Just continued playing I played for all different types of teams. Went back to Pegasus when I was like 15 to about 18. Went back to Pelican numerous times. I played for San Diego Town numerous times, for like various different clubs in different age groups, and always had the same sort of friends that we've all played for the same sort of team. So at some point in time, we've all kind of either crossed paths on the pitch, or we've ended up playing for the same teams. And my last team was, the last team that I actually completed a season for was a team called Long Eaton GMB, and so that was in the Long Eaton Sunday League, and that was basically the only black team in that league, and it was all my friends from Long Eaton, and we had such a good team, and our biggest problem was ourselves. Like falling out, and we were our own worst enemy. Yeah. In the end, but honestly, we still talk about it to this day. I think it's about 6 years since we folded now, but it was such a good crack that was. I used to love waking up on a Sunday morning. Did you still finish
high up, even though you had problems in it?
We got into the Prem.
That's amazing.
But we was doing all right in there, but it was never really going to win. But we was everyone's cup final. Everyone wanted to play against us. Do you know what I mean? I think mainly because of like the Lewis McGugan tie, because his two brothers played for the team as well. Yeah. So everybody knew who he was, and his older brother Jermaine was quality as well. Do you know what I mean? And Curtis, when he was younger, oh mate, honestly, we had some ballers in that team.
Dude, it's funny. I played at not a bad standard. I'm your right back, and I've learnt the philosophy: get it, knock it. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. Down the line, you want a few options around you, and just do your job. That was my dad's level. Yeah. That's what made him so good. He was always playing like 3 years above him, and so on. Yeah. Around here, everyone goes, "You Dave Markham's kid," and it's a bit annoying actually, because I never got. I was a rugby player, really.
Oh, really?
Broke my leg in rugby. I was playing for Derby, and again, it was a team that we never lost, ever. And I was a big kid, so I was one of the props, and I'd only known win, in honesty. We ended up playing at Gulliver's, which took us to played at Twickenham, where England played, and so on. It was incredible. And then when I broke my leg, I was getting to NLD standard, and I would have been about 15. I just dropped out, lost loads of weight for some reason. I think I got a bit depressed, so I stopped eating. Lost loads of weight, went to go back. I was literally never I only played about 5 games. Went into the B squad where they kept losing. Yeah. And that pained me. So I went and played football after that for a while. Yeah. And I was in just the not bad team, mid-table teams. And that's why I needed to learn a new phase of my life, which was dealing with loss, dealing with like losing mentality. But it's funny, isn't it, when you're playing for your Saturday and Sunday team, and then like there's a semi-pro footballer come in, or you're playing against, bloody hell, he's turned up. It is another level, isn't it?
No, it is.
It's you've got all these guys running around it, but it's the knowledge, I think it is. I mean, there's clearly the skill and the athleticism and so on, but it just, they always seem to know where to be and where that ball's going and what's happening.
That's where there's those players in it that those rare players that make the game move at their pace. The game moves at their pace. They don't go chasing the game.
That is so
They're able to just, make things happen in whatever space and time they see fit.
Yeah. And my dad actually, thinking about that, he went and played for Eastwood, I think, because he's playing... No, Hena Town.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then he went back to the Vets for a while because he missed football so much. And they had a great team. And they went to this tournament and final, I think they played on Sheffield's, United's ground, when they're not playing on it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, it was Chris Waddle. He played for the opposition. And I swear on my life, he did not move from the centre circle. He put on a bit of weight, but you could really tell who played for England on that pitch. He just stayed there. He knew exactly, he'd get the ball, he'd shield him off, and then he'd be able to ping it or just take that game and transform it. I think Tina did win in the end, but still, it was probably because he was just surrounded by a shower of shit. But it was amazing. You were watching these players thinking, God, you're in your 50s and you've still got that brain about you.
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing, isn't it?
Honestly.
Because I'd not played it as a kid, so going in for 15, knowing football, my dad wanted me to play football, but me playing rugby, I just got on and I was very athletic, so I could do all you needed to do, but I didn't have the brain. So first of all, when my dad came to watch me, I was just pegging it, no positional stand. He said, Mikey, stand here, don't move, ping it, get it, knock it. And that's who I turned into after that. I've really missed it. So when was the moment then? Was it for that club where you...
No, so I'd gone on to another club. Again, I had similar players to from teams that I played for before, and one of the reasons that I played mainly was one of my mates. So I played centre off with at my last team, then went on to play for them. So I ended up joining them, and it was literally my first pre-season for them. I literally didn't play a league game or anything. It was like my fifth game or something like that. And but I'd gone back to play in the middle of the park because I like to sit in front of the back four.
Yeah,
I love passing, and I love seeing things and trying to create a moment. I've never been a greedy player.
Yeah.
Never been one to shoot loads, but I like being in the thick of it. I like a good smash.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Never been dirty, but I just love absolutely nailing someone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
listening to that, you kind of got me going. I'm like,
mate, honestly,
should we go out and
you should
find a team?
You should hear me playing my mate at FIFA.
Really?
Oh, no, it's filth. Some of the things that he come out with, it's vile. It's vile, mate. Honestly, say some disgusting things.
Go
Bit
for
of a
it.
disgrace when I play FIFA. If I'm honest.
Do you know, like, other people in the music scene? Do you know Lewis Braid at all? He was in Unknown Era.
I know of Unknown Era. What's the main guy in Unknown Era?
Kane Ashmore.
Yeah,
I can imagine you two get on. And Lewis was the bass player, but he's made this reggae band, and it's electric, incredible, and they're called Concrete Rose. Doing really good now. I think they won a competition where they're playing main stage at Rock City.
Is that for the Splendor thing?
Yeah. Or they came second or first, I can't remember, but I'm so proud of him because he was my best mate for about a year, 2 years solid. And it was funny because we'd get up and basically just be in our boxer shorts, flick on FIFA, 9 o'clock till 1 a.m. sometimes. So we're like, what are we doing with our lives? Because we've got passions, we've got skill sets, we've got all this, but FIFA would just take it.
Honestly,
to the
my mate is my daughter's godfather as well. His name's Gareth, and he used to be the manager of GMB. He's, what's he now? He's just turned like 41, so he's quite a bit older than me.
Yeah,
I've always been one of the younger ones in my circle. But he was the manager for like 10 years.
Right.
Got a very wise-eyed and very knowledgeable on all various sports and just general knowledge.
I like people like that.
Honestly, if you can ask him a math equation, he'll just tell it you. Don't matter what it is. Play darts a lot. And the way that he just adds up, you score on darts is just like, it's unreal. But yeah, so our thing is, I'll go around, we'll have a chat. Yeah, what are you saying? We'll sit there. He'll go in the kitchen, Billy's little thing, bun it down, and be like, "Fancy a game then?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, all right." And I act like I'm not really too bothered, but really I'm thinking, "Come on in, you beat me last time." because he batters me all the time. But FIFA's got so many glitches in it now.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
What are you playing? 21 FIFA?
Yeah. 21, and I'm analog.
Right, yeah.
He uses D-pad. So there's a lot of movement he doesn't seem to get that I get with the ball.
I couldn't ever use D-pad. That makes no sense.
But honestly, the most unreal things happen to me when I play FIFA. Just the way that passes are wayward and all sorts. And honestly, the way that we'll get two cushions like this and we'll lay down on the sofa. I'm here, he'll lay down next to me and we're both like this. Two grown men in front of the flipping telly. And an hour into it, you're like, you fucking cunt, it's fucking... And then, honestly, be like, no, I'm turning it off in a minute, it's fucking shit.
Mate, that's it. And I remember one time with Lewis, so gone downstairs. It's funny because I'll just tell a slight anecdote outside with it. One day when we woke up and I went, Lewis, we've got to make a song today because we must have for about 3 weeks solid played this and we're not achieving anything. Let's at least make one song and then get on it. And we went downstairs, did a 20-minute song, probably one take, put it out, just got on FIFA again, took us 20 minutes. But that was the one that did really well for us for some reason. It was so funny. It was like the one we've not tried anything with. Just get the iPad in front, done.
Sometimes that's how it goes, isn't it?
It's the one that did okay. But it would be amazing because it's like I had out-of-body experiences. Do you know where you're winning a match and then 80 minutes, he's just brought one back, then you score again, and then it's in extra time.
Then the inevitable happens.
And then he scores two.
Yeah.
There was one moment, and we had a lot on stake because we play little games, and if I'd win this, you have to make us dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was one time where I was so invested. And the remote, I just had it, and he scored in the last second, and I just threw it.
Yeah. Because I'll be sitting there, and obviously I'm at his house playing on his PlayStation, and something will happen. I was like, I'm gonna have to buy you a new remote because this is going through your fucking telly in a minute.
Yeah.
And so we used to do a thing on a Sunday where we'd all play. There'd be me, Gareth, Shep, and Dwayne. So we do 2-on-2s.
Yeah.
So someone's always blaming the other.
Oh God.
And then. Whoever the common denominator was for losing throughout the weekend, used to get the wooden spoon on a Sunday afternoon. And
the wooden spoon on the Sunday afternoon.
Then we just send each other voice notes and just rip. But I get so unlucky on it, and I actually have the vision and the understanding of how the game works.
Yeah.
But it just does what it fucking wants. Now. It's so bad. Like the free kicks now.
What do the people on forums and stuff say? It's got built-in, especially when you're in the league. What's the league thing called on FIFA when you're
season,
online?
The online thing. See, I didn't touch that at all.
I go on that.
The ultimate team thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, because I really didn't get it and I was losing. I thought, I'm really good at FIFA, what's happening? But they say it's scripted. I didn't know you could have a game that's scripted online. But then you watch a lot of the YouTube things and there would be crazy stuff happen, like glitches, where they wanted someone to win who's on too much of a streak or whatever. It was really interesting. I saw one where it was chipped over, clearly going in, and it just went off cue. And I was going, maybe there is something in this scripted thing. But then people on Reddit say weird shit. One more on that. It's not FIFA this time. It was Pro, because I was a Pro Evolution Soccer guy.
Pro's gone now.
Yes, but back in the day, that was.
Adriano.
Oh, he was rapid. Roberto Carlos for me. But that game, especially the Brazil team.
Oh, unreal.
Everyone was playing FIFA at the time, but me and my best mate and my dad, we were Pro Evolutioners.
Was that? I want to say Pro Evo 5. I think that was the Armory and John Terry front cover.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. You are an encyclopedia. I'm really enjoying this because I need stimulants where I go, oh yeah, that is right.
Because Armory had I think it was the 2006 Arsenal Burgundy
North Red
kit for when we left Highbury.
Yes, that's 100%. But we'd be playing that together, and me and my dad would play on the same team because if we played against each other we'd be not talking for a few days. So that's how we went around it. And I'll never forget, as a 13 year old, jumping around the living room, waking everyone up at 2 a.m. because me and my dad had just won the World Cup with England, playing at super hard level as well. And they were the big days for me. But me and my mate, so after school struggling, we went travelling for a while. And he's my best mate, Jagger. and we've never ever fallen out, not once in our lives, ever. So we go travelling a year but imagine being with your best mate for a year solid, living in the same stinky households, or you've gone to we did a lot of hostels, 20 people in the same room and you're just clumped up, but we just get each other. So if you need space, I'm like, I'm chilling out here, man, whatever. Anyway, after Australia, we went to Thailand, and in the airport, I think it was in Sydney actually, they had game consoles, and they had Pro Evolution Soccer, and that was Jagger's big game and my big game. And we started playing that.
Wait, did you say this was in the airport?
This was in the airport.
You didn't miss your playing Pro, did you?
No. I've missed planes before, but we're playing, and people start coming and watching, and it got really crowded, and the stakes got higher. And that thing that I was talking about with Lewis happened, where it got to the 80th minute, I'm winning 1-0, and honestly, he scored on like the 89th minute, and then scored on the 92nd minute, and he started talking to me this way. We had our first fallout. Since knowing him from primary school, secondary school, everything, we've been together, the craziest things you can imagine. We couldn't talk to each other. It really, we were gone.
It gets like that. Like if I'm beating my mate or he's beating me, I'll be like plodding along, like yeah. Because so we like, so if you get if you get beat by 3 or more goals, we consider that a body bag. That's one of the terms. So
big time.
If it's if it's 5-2 and you pull one back, you've saved face by avoiding the body in, basically. We've got so many different sayings and stuff, like honestly,
up,
yeah. Some of the stuff is unreal.
There's a real, particularly with like young men though, there's something ingrained in us, isn't there, with computer games and so on.
Because I don't think at any point in my life I could wake up and be fucking 80 tomorrow. I'm not even just saying, I definitely would still be interested in computer, because it just fascinates me. So you think like all the stuff you've enjoyed from a kid, like when you go back to like the early 2000s, late 90s or whatever, and when the PlayStation first arrived and stuff like that, PlayStation 2 and what have you, and you think these graphics are fucking sick. So you imagine what you'll be able to do in another 10 years time. I'm not missing out on that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not missing out on that just because I'm a certain age. No, forget that.
Mate, go on. What is your favourite sort of FIFA year then? When was FIFA smashed?
So, I mean, this one is by far the worst.
Yeah.
FIFA 20 was close
to being the worst. Why do you think they're going in that direction? They're trying to make it too realistic.
But it's all these different things that they're changing. Like the free kicks, I can't score free kicks.
They are shit, aren't they? Yeah.
But in FIFA 20, we had this thing. We'd figured out how to score directly from a corner.
Yeah.
With certain players that had certain stats.
I did that. I could remove my analog stick left.
Yeah.
Press X. Beta for me.
On your Xbox.
Yeah.
PlayStation. Yeah.
I'm talking a foreign language now. But I could always score from a free kick because it'd go to the front man, and he'd be able to glance it in every time.
But we figured out how to put the ball in the back of the net. So you put it behind the back post by about a yard or so. Yeah. Put it on full power. Squeeze it to the left or the right to whip it in, and as soon as it left the player's foot, it just goes vroom, back post. And we've been obsessed with trying it this time. It just doesn't work now on this one.
I suppose they're trying to get rid of that, making it too easy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But it's like the free kicks on it. I don't understand why. They just don't make sense. You aim one way, it goes another. Yeah. And then I've watched these little videos where they're scoring worldies with like Gareth Bale and people like that. Yeah. And it's like it's not going to happen, is it? I ain't got all day to try and figure out that.
Are you going back quite a select then to get to?
I'm probably going to. I think 16 was good.
16. Who's on the cover here? Messi?
I think it could be. You'll have to look it up. I'm going to say Marco Reus.
I'll put it on. I'll find out, and then I'll put it.
I think it might be Marco Reus. You know.
Okay. I can't actually tell you on that front because I think I was still near. Pro Evo.
19 could have been Marco Reus. I don't know. I'm thinking Reus. 16.
I'm better with the Pro Evos, definitely. The FIFA's lost me a bit.
Yeah, I'm probably the opposite then.
What it got me really good at, though, playing the football games, was knowing all the flags for every nation. I'm so good at flags now, because when I would play in international level, I'd find it so fascinating, because how me and my dad played was, do you know when you can random it?
Yeah.
You had to press 3 times, and that's the team you're given.
So that's it. That's what we do. So we'll go to the Premier League, and we'll go up, and we'll be like, right, pick a number 8. Press square 8 times. Whoever you land on, that's who you are.
Your team.
You could be West Brom, I could be Man City.
Yeah.
And that's how the games go throughout the day. So it's nice when you cause a little upset. Do you know what I mean?
Oh man, and you do it often, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
So I was trying a little bit harder, aren't you? Then?
Yeah, of course. Because your main aim is to not get battered at the end of the day.
But take me back to real football as well. Then, can you remember some of the moments where you had incredible times? Like, are you winning leagues, or just moments in football where you're going?
So when I played for Pegasus, like my first year playing for them, when I was like 8, 9. I was always rubber-dub. Never got a game. Get 10 minutes here, blah, blah, blah. But my team won the league and cup.
Wow.
I think 3 years on the bounce. Maybe lost about 5 games in that whole period. Because we used to play the cup finals at Moorways.
Yeah. It's nice down there, actually.
Yeah. We did a charity football match there through our thing. For someone in Derby, actually, with another organisation. I've got another story, actually, about one of my... We'll get back to that, actually. And that for me was like the mecca of the young Elizabethan League, like playing at Moorways. I think in my 3 years playing for Pegasus, I think it was the last final we got to. I think I got 15, maybe 20 minutes.
Right. Okay.
Off the bench.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It wasn't really best pleased, because you used to like get the big changing room and everything, have your big team talk, warm up, your parents and friends would be in the stands. You know, and you felt like a professional for the day. Do you know what I mean? And because I learned how to win from young. I was in winning teams from young. And then kind of after the young days, didn't really win much silverware and stuff. I actually played for a church team. I'm not really religious like that. But
so before, just move the mic a little bit to me.
To you.
That way. Sorry, I'll edit. That's perfect.
Is that
I just saw you on there and I thought it's look better than that. Carry a church team.
Yeah. So one of my mates attends a church in, I think it's West Bridgeford, and got loads of like avid football fans and whatever. And it turns out there's an actual church football league.
Wow.
I forget what the team was. It's really bad. I forget what the team's called. But I played for them for like 2 seasons, and that was actually the last trophy that I won. We won some final. I think we played somewhere in Derby, actually. I forget who's like a semi-pro team's ground. If someone said the team's name,
Eastwood?
No, not Eastwood. Ooh.
Was it a good pitch though?
Yeah, it's a good pitch. Stand and everything. Yeah. That was my last. That was my last bit of silver. That was about 7-8 years ago. That was, and it was actually decent. You had some crap players, but it's like you're in a church team.
There's nothing more exciting than being in a team where you're taking it.
That's where I got my one and only red card though, in the church league. Imagine
really?
That. Yeah, absolutely nailed someone.
Did you?
Yeah, just wound me up. And I just nailed him. Wow. I thought, I'm taking a red for you.
How much did that set you back in there? 20 quid? 25
quid?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I got one just before I did my ACL. So it was the game before, and then I had 2 really shit weeks basically, because I had to go and plead with the ref afterwards, like, oh, I've got a kid, I'm doing all this. Like, but it was because I'd called him a cheat, but I didn't. That was all it was. It was a definite non-penalty, and I just went, oh, that's fucking cheating. And the referee was over here, heard it, and he just goes, you called me a cheat. And I'm like, that's my only ever red card. And I'm getting it for this shit. I would have loved to have...
That's a terrible red card, that is.
Double-footed or done something crazy, having a mad time with an idiot on the pitch.
Like, a lot of the governing bodies in like amateur football, they take it serious, you know.
Yeah.
We had to... so me, Gareth and Shep, as the representatives for our team, for GMB, we had to go and sit in front of this panel. I forget what it was for. It was for something. I think they was talking about chucking us out of the league for there'd been an incident where there was some massive uproar and a referee had been told this and that and da. So we had to do this hearing. Everyone's suited and booted, about 6 to 7 of them in a panel, all these old coffin dodgers.
Wow.
And it was like flipping out, like they're taking it this serious.
You just don't expect it, do you? You don't expect
No. They do take it really, really serious. But I think like that's good with football now, because I think that many people have got access to, you know, different types of facilities and resources that you could only dreamed of 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think like teams that, like especially new teams, they seem to take it serious.
Yeah,
do you know
definitely.
what I mean? The training they have serious training. No matter what league you're in. You know what I mean? Everyone's kits, Nike, Adidas.
I hate, because I played for quite a few teams, and the ones that are just elusive, I'm just here for fun. I get it.
Yeah.
But I can't get on board with it. It doesn't suit me at all. I'm going, I like to have fun. I can go out in town and have fun with my mates and I make some music. I want to win here. It's 5-a-side, it's 11-a-side, it's whatever I'm doing. I'm just so competitive. It doesn't make sense to just turn up and be blasé. And it feels good then, because particularly my 5-a-side team, we were at Derby outside of Pride Park. JJB it was.
I used to love that on a Thursday night.
Dude, we were in the...
Oh, you went outside? You did the outside?
we were 5-a-side in at JJB, yeah. But I can't remember what it's called now. It's DW Sports.
DW Sports.
That's it. So we were playing there, and we were in the top league, and we had one team that was against us. It's Talk to Frank, and it was always us two, which were the team, and they used to come and film us. And at one time, it literally filmed. It was 0-0. You never get a 0-0 in a 5-a-side, but it was just the stakes were so high. But that's great, because everybody, their team, our team, we took it so serious. We'd turn up, we'd have a bit of a laugh, but then we're like, no lads, like we're here now. And as soon as the first tackle's in, it's flying everywhere. And that is what you really want, isn't it?
Yeah. I love a bit of that. There's nothing like a good comeback though, is there?
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
But especially one where there's been a little bit of a scuffle. And then there's been a bit of an overthrow in with the leg. Oh, and then it's like I remember one, that's what I'm in my head at, because we were losing for the first time, and it's because there was only 5 of us. We used to have 2 subs, but no, only 5 turned up for this one, and we'd already played a game, and then we're in the second match, and it wasn't Talk to Frank, but it was that other team that sort of just niggle you, and they'd scored early on, and then my mate, who is a tank, went into one of them and smacked him. Not hit him in the face, like, no, just shoulder barged him. And all of them just came in and started, like, it took about 5 minutes, maybe a bit longer, to actually calm it down. And you can imagine that, and you'll know this. Every tackle after that meant just everything. It was just flinging in. And honestly, like my FIFA days, there was a moment where second half, I think it's we might have been 2-0 down, but we just switched on.
Yeah.
And we really took it on, and I scored in the last me as well, and we went mad.
What's the best goal you've scored?
Best ever goal? I know it straight away, because later down the line, and my dad's 50, and we went to Belper League, and we played in the same team together, and it's all the oldies and me. So they're all 45, 50, and we're playing teams that are younger. But then there was one team that turned up, and they had a few oldies in, and they were battering me, like trying to smash into me. And my dad's kind of, hang on a minute. And it was really good. Actually, it was the other way around. So I'm telling a lie because my dad scored it, because I chested it, kneed it, and flicked it to him, and he volleyed it, and we won. We got a cup for it. But that's not my goal. I just remember that being, I was going to take it off him then, and if he heard this, he'd be like, hang on a minute. I'm not having that. But I'll back it to you, man. What about you? Where you at?
Ooh, I've never scored many goals, to be honest. I've never been a goal scorer. I played up front 1 year. When I got released from Forest, I went to play for Bulwell, and I was joined by 2 other guys that had been released from Forest, one of them that I went to school with, and I was top goal scorer for the team. I think I scored about 17, 18 goals. all types of different goals, headers, volleys. Scored with my knob one time.
Did you?
Just coming out of the corner, I was throwing that up.
Yeah.
It went in, but I was kind of disappointed. I was like, that's kind of a shit goal to score.
I don't know, man. Now you can claim every part of your body, you know.
So for GMB, it was the last game of the season. We was on the verge of relegation. We ended up winning 3-0 and I scored my one and only free kick.
Really?
Yeah, nice little free kick.
Were you aiming?
Yeah, just picked that top
You
corner.
picked it?
Yeah, just put it there.
Right, because I pictured it, you know, back here and it flung in.
Do you know what? I used to have this thing. I used to always take the goal kicks.
Right.
I used to have an enormous fucking kick.
Yeah.
So like, if free kicks were at a certain distance, they'd be like, Lils, get on it. And I just absolutely
leathered
wail it. I've probably hit the post and the bar more than I've scored.
Really?
Yeah, just from absolutely smashing it. And then one season for GMB, the season before we went up into the Prem, I was literally the only player that had not scored
really?
in the team, the entire team. Playing centre half all season, keeping clean sheets and whatever.
But you like passing,
I actually got player of the season that year as well.
Wow.
And last game of the season, we was playing in Ilkeston. I think Stanton Ilkeston was playing. And we was winning 2-0. Got a penalty. This big fat fucker in goal.
Sick.
Stepped up.
Oh, please don't miss.
Absolutely smashed it. Rattled the bar. The bar was going like this. They went the other, I'm sure they went the other end and scored.
Oh,
we ended up winning the game.
Yeah,
and finishing second in the league. And yeah, they really ripped me to shreds after that. I got absolutely rinsed after that. I mean, he was a massive guy. All I had to do was put it in the bottom corner. But I thought, no, you're having this. I'm breaking the net. And just smash the bar.
You'd already planned your celebration, hadn't you?
Yeah.
You were going to go, I'm going to bash this in top corner. Everyone's going to raise me up and we're going to go to the next level.
Everyone was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I do have my best goal. I scored 2 in this game and I wasn't scoring much either. One of them was literally a tap in, but it was against the team that I used to play for. So I go and film now because I can't play, but Codner have employed me to go in and film them.
They were Pegasus's arch nemesis.
Really?
Codner.
That's why I remembered them.
Yeah.
When you said it, I was like, I bet I played them a few times. I wondered if I'd played you.
Where was that pitch now? I kind of remember like a gravelled car park that you go down to.
Yeah.
There was a change room at the very end, and the pitch was literally in front of the change room. There was only one pitch, and I think there was like a bush or a bank right next to the pitch.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Yellow Kit.
Yellow Kit, mate.
There you go, baby. I knew the name.
Yeah.
I was like, because again, the thing I love about football so much is it's lovely to have a community. It's lovely to go and meet your mates, but a nice thing for me is you can actually just turn up and play. You know, there's a no there. You're all there for a commonality, and you just turn up. And sometimes I had no idea who were playing, no idea. I just send me a postcode. I turn up. I'd get there as the whistle goes and just stick me in where I stand. But Codner, so I'd gone travelling after that again. I'd gone to South Africa, and I come back, and I just wanted to play for a football team. Codner asked me to go back to them. But my mate had just started a football team out of the blue. He'd started up like Eastwood something. They ended up going into affiliation because we had the most amazing team like you had set up, all the perfect players, but they're all just love to go on a piss, and it was a Sunday league thing.
There was nothing funnier than like you get there, get in the change rooms. Where's such and such? Oh, yeah, last night he went to thingy after we went to that club.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is. I've been ringing him all morning. And you're just waiting. Next minute, you're about to kick off and you see someone run onto the pitch. Get your fucking socks on.
I'll tell you about that thing last night tomorrow. But yeah, same. I thought, I could go back to Codner, not a bad team, or go and play for my mate's team who would have had an amazing team if we didn't turn up with 9 players. But we did. We turned up with, I think it was 10 players, so they let us play. And we were playing Codner, and we ended up winning, and I got 2 goals. The first one, my mate just squared it, and I literally just swung a leg at it. Not cool. But the second one, it's not a great goal because I didn't mean it. I was literally on the outside of the box running in. My mate crossed it in way too soon, and again I just did this flying spin thing, and it went over the goalie, and went because the goalie come to get it, and it hit my shin pad, but I'm outside of the box, and it just went straight in, and everyone was like, wow. I took it, I pretended I meant it, but I'm telling now on this podcast,
you have to pretend.
I did not mean it. To the extent I meant it was I had to swing something, didn't I? I had to Zatalan Ibrahimovic.
Exactly.
That was a great goal against England, wasn't it? Can you remember that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Was it about 40 yards out?
He really meant that, though, didn't he?
It's
what it's about.
I don't think anything he knew is a mistake.
No.
To be honest with you.
Can you remember Giroud's goal?
The scorpion kick against Crystal Palace on the counter. Of course, didn't he?
Wow.
That won the Puskas Award, that did.
Yeah.
Because I think it was between that and the Mkhitaryan one. When I was in Europa League, but he kind of dived and kind of caught it.
Did that thing that goalie did back in the day. That was pretty special.
The Giroud one, the barring in thing, that's what...
That one of the creators, was it Ramsey's goal, the Arsenal, where it was like tap football?
No, that's Jack Wilshere. And Giroud dinked it over... no, who did it go to? I think it was Rositzky to Cazorla into Wilshere, spins it round into Giroud tips it back, and Wilshere just kind of walks onto it and just allows it to just brush off his foot and just trickles into the bottom corner.
That must have got goal of the month, right?
I think it did, yeah.
That was a special
we did a decent one a couple of years ago against Leicester, a nice team goal. But we don't see that from...
What are you feeling then? Let's go into it. Look, come on then. Arsenal TV. Hit me with it. That's my dad's reason of supporting Arsenal. He loves the Arsenal TV.
I love it because you get much more of an insight on the state of your club.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anywhere else in the world where you can get such an insight onto the inner workings of your club.
Nobody's done it as well as what they've created.
Got something like 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube alone. You know,
and regardless if you think they're right or not, it's interesting. It's very exciting.
There's a lot of delusion on there.
There's crazy people.
Ty flipping hell, he's something else. He is. For me, it's very informative, especially like the transfer period, because every morning that's my newspaper. Jump on there. Who we link with today? Then. Do you know what I mean? It's
where you at? Where they've gone wrong? What did they need to do? What's the next steps?
First of all, for me, Wenger should have gone when we won that FA Cup in 2017. Just bowed out gracefully with a bit of silverware, you know, and
should have Fergied it.
Yeah. Just left everyone else with the shit.
Do you think Fergie? Sorry to interrupt and side note it, but do you think Fergie knew it was going downhill, or do you think he just thought, I've done what I need to do now, I'm ready to go?
It's a mad one because they still had a good team under Moyes, didn't they? Is that when they had Di Maria? Did they have Di Maria under Moyes' tenure, or is it Van Gaal's?
It was Moyes. I can't remember if... Di Maria was definitely under Moyes, wasn't he? Because I think they had a falling out or something like...
Because he literally was there for one season and then went to PSG, didn't he?
He struggled.
But I think Kane saw conquered. I probably won't win the league again with this team. You can see what's going on with City. Chelsea are always willing to spend. They were the only two teams to fear, really. Obviously, what year was that? Was it 2013? 2013 season, I think it was.
Bloody hell, I keep forgetting where we're at now, but time.
Because it was the finger kit, wasn't it?
I was talking to you earlier about Stephen Warnock, and I was like, I think it was 2021. Oh yeah, we're in that now. Really rubbish with timelines, me, but I love that you're so good at it.
Yeah, with football and albums, I can just, I've always had, because it just reminds me of a time.
Yeah,
and I think that's what it is.
I'll test you on some albums in a minute. Yeah. So you felt Wenger should have left 2017
because at that point you've got the potential to work with managers like Pep.
Yeah.
Still, I don't know if Klopp was at Liverpool then. I don't know, but there was a lot of of managers in and around the game.
They would have taken on a big team like that.
The whole Unai Emery thing was basically like, it's come from PSG, so that's all right. That's kind of how that felt to me. And then he came in, I've got a dossier on every single player, blah, blah, blah. And you thought,
I love what you're saying here because you're right. Because if Wenger would have left at that time and big managers aren't seeing a team crumble, they're going to get involved.
Yeah.
But as soon as they start seeing that deterioration, they're thinking, "Nah, I want silverware."
Yeah, definitely. I think we missed the trick because I think there was a chance to get Pep a few years before, before he even left. Because at the time, we're playing similar football to a Barcelona.
Yeah.
Because for me, back in the day, I would say, outside of maybe United's understanding of how to win through Fergie, outside of that, I don't think you could identify a playing style with anyone else in the Premier League
I know what you're saying.
bar Arsenal. Because I used to liken Arsenal to Barcelona or Brazil.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, that was so obvious to me that they played a certain way. They played how Barcelona played. Brazil played how they played. You look at England in like the 90s. If you look at the England team that's just been in the final of the Euros, and you look at the England team in the 96 Euros, how stiff and rigid absolutely everything was about the way that they played, from the choice of right back. It was all based on the team you played for. That was the only reason you was in the squad.
Yeah.
Whereas like now in the Euros, there was players from 16 different teams in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's all different variations of playing styles and all different things that you can adapt in your squads based on your personnel and stuff like that. But with England,
and they could play in different positions as well.
And with England, you knew Gary Neville playing right back. He might put a few stiff crosses in.
And if you've got an injury here, he's not going to slip into this position at any point, is he?
No. He's not going to tuck Gary Neville into right. He's only playing there.
Whereas you've got Grealish or somebody now, it's like you could play attacking midfielder, you could actually play on the left. And
I'm almost certain that Pep will find him a completely new position.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Grealish ended up being an out-and-out striker.
Yeah.
To be honest. Because the way that the amount of trouble he would cause if where he picked the ball up was on the edge of the box or in the box, the amount of fouls he's able to draw in, and
I was just thinking that.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, going back to Arsenal, with the whole Emery thing, sounded good, but for me, straight away when I knew that he was making it his business to learn English every day, it's like they always say with musicians when they get into acting, they always say don't try and make an album when you're making films, because the two don't really work. So I'm not likening the like learning English and managing a football team to those things, but it's like if you're busy managing a football team, manage it the best way you know how. Don't try and manage it the way you think we want you to manage it. That's why the good evening thing became a bit of a laughing stock, because the focus seemed so much on that, and I could imagine that he probably even tried to convey his messages and his tactics in a way that he thought made sense because he's saying them in English or to the Spanish players in Spanish, but he could tell there was a lot of confusion in the team.
Right.
And before you know it, people are saying, Arsenal are a banter club. You know, no one fears them or anything like that. And the Arteta thing, I don't know about that, mate, honestly. I always said, give him to the end of this window, then see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a position now where Chelsea have just signed Lukaku for what? Was it 100 million?
Yeah.
Playing against us on Sunday. 100% going to score.
Big signing that.
He's definitely going to score.
I want him in my team.
He's in my fantasy football team.
Dude, I really rate him as a player.
I actually took Aubameyang out of my fantasy football team.
Really?
And I put Vardy in.
Yeah. Good shout.
That's where I am with it. Do you know what I mean? It's so weird that such a decline, and there's so many people that want to see Arsenal fail.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's mainly because of the invincible thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even ex-players slag Arsenal off, and I think it's probably because they weren't part of that invincible thing. That's like it might not be repeated again.
I don't think it will be, but you've got to remember, in sport as well, for greatness to exist in all clubs, you have to have real greatness to have it. Look at the heavyweight divisions. For Muhammad Ali or for Tyson to be known as the greatest sportsman of all time, you've got to have incredible people around you. So to have animosity to something as wonderful as what happened there, it doesn't make any sense, because you just got to see yourself as lucky of experiencing that, and your team got to up themselves because of something like that happened. We've seen now Messi, we've seen Ronaldo, and we're always building for up. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to have hatred for watching beauty unfold.
Yeah, definitely.
That was, as a kid, when I had the O2 shirt and everything. Henry on the back, but it was that Bergkamp goal as well, where it just jabs it, goes round the other way. That was so special. But what a team that! Like Perez, Henry.
In that team, the Invincible team, I swear Bergkamp got something like only got like 4 goals and 8 assists, or the other way around.
Really?
Didn't really contribute numbers wise.
Yeah, right.
But because he was
just a part of the parcel,
good player, and integral part of that team. Like those type of things was never a factor. People are always looking for all these
Vieira Keane days.
Oh yeah.
That was so funny.
Love a bit of that. But that, again, Vieira, Sunday mornings, I put my kit on.
Is that basically
get the
your
Vicks,
inspiration?
Get the Vicks.
Because that's how you played, like that big riding tackle.
Yeah.
You've seen it in Vieira.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that.
And he could pick out a pass as well. It was silky with it.
Huge for it,
Do you know
wasn't
what I
he?
mean?
Yeah.
I had a bit of a shot on him, but for the most part, just busy in the middle of the park.
So what are you thinking? Is it how do you put a facelift on that team?
I mean, you're looking at the aftermath of previous regimes at the minute. With you've got your Bellerins. Honestly, mate. Honestly,
Look at you.
But it's like because he's a part of the furniture now. He's been here 10 years.
Yeah,
he kind of gets this pass from certain people, but he's just not good enough. It's really that simple,
really
you know.
That's it.
He's actually not good enough.
And then he'll do a really good thing, so that's it.
Yeah.
You base him on a good bit of skill, or he's whipped in a good cross and scored.
But for me, there's certain things I've noticed with certain players. A lot of Arsenal players, Theo Walcott, Bellerin, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, were 3 key players that do this used to do it on a regular basis. And they would cheat the way through a game. And what I mean by that is, like, they would get themselves in a position where they're supposed to be with the ball, on the attacking front or whatever. Time and time again, you see Theo Walcott get into the final third, and all he do is pass it inside.
Yeah.
But that was it's like, I've passed the ball on, I've not actually made a mistake, but I'm not posing that threat that I'm here to pose. So I didn't really score many goals, or he wasn't great at finishing. Any one-on-ones, you'd probably put your money on him to lose.
Yeah.
And Bellerin kind of does the same, gets to the byline, knocks it in, might put on a little shitty cross now and then.
Yeah.
But he's not strong, don't want to head the ball. And everyone's like, he had a bad injury. But it's like, I mean, the resources you've got to recover from that injury, and you're here now playing, so you're obviously fit.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he's good enough. I don't know how we've given Xhaka a new contract. It's not actually a bad thing. Obviously, you've seen the display put on for Switzerland in the Euros, but we've been there and done it. It's not worked, has it?
Yeah.
So, there's better players that you can bring in. I don't know what's happened to Aubameyang. I don't know.
Would you feel there were busyness? They were busy enough in the transfer window and so on? Or?
Well, today we just confirmed Ødegaard and that Ramsdale from Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, paying £30 million for a goalkeeper from the Championship. But when you factor in the fact he's 23, he's English, he was part of the England setup, blah, blah, blah. And I think there's a common misconception with goalkeepers that play for crap teams. If you're a goalkeeper playing for a crap team, you know what it feels like to be under pressure on a regular basis. Remember when Joe Hart got relegated with Birmingham?
Yeah.
He ended up being Man City and England #1. Jordan Pickford got relegated with Sunderland, Everton and England #1.
Was it Robinson as well? Did it? Portsmouth, I think.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, David James.
That's it. Sorry. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's almost like you're getting the most practice, if anything. But you don't lose games because of a goalkeeper, really, do you? That's the last port of call before the goal.
Yeah,
If you've got a good finisher, then it doesn't matter who's in goal, really, does it? So,
you happy with them 2 signings at the minute then? Yeah?
Ødegaard, I mean, that should have been done and dusted ages ago.
Yeah.
Come on loan, it should have been an obligation to buy. Summertime comes, yep, you'll do, see you in a bit. It's good that we've ended up getting him for 30 instead of 50, which is decent.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's almost like they think that because they spent 30 million on a keeper, that kind of compensates for the lack of movement in and around the transfer window. I mean, should have signed Basuma from Brighton for me. I think he's awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's an awesome player. And you'd like to think that transfer talks are as simple as someone going into the office and saying, right, Gaffer, I'm ready to leave, blah, blah, blah. You make a couple of phone calls, maybe haggle a bit back and forth, put a meeting in place, have a meeting a couple of weeks down the line, hash everything out. You either stay in or you're going.
Yeah.
But all this, there's ongoing talks with... What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, really?
I was saying to you before the podcast, I did have Stephen Warnock on the last pod, so we really mainly talked about his mental health, actually. There's another podcast, the Prime Life Project, where they talk all football, and it's brilliant, and I'm excited to see that one back. I was filming it, you see. It's not out yet, but it'll be out in a few weeks. But he was explaining when, I think it was at Liverpool or Aston Villa, he really wanted to leave, and there was so much confusion go on, and the managers that didn't like him, they'd actually play tricks on them. So they'd take him down this path, and you've got your manager who's looking after you, and the person that sorts out that the transfer. Who would be sorting out with Stephen? He's got a manager, Annie, that speaks to his actual coach,
his agent.
I knew there was a word there. It won't come into me. So his agent would be saying, "Yeah, this is right. We've got it all in goings happening," and then this manager who is under would just go, "No, not happening," and put a stupid price tag on him where they can't reach or whatever, and he found out he was going somewhere while he was on holiday, because he had had so much of it. He's like, "I'm just going away for a bit," and then saw a paper with him in it. He was going,
that's crazy.
How crazy is that? But
that's crazy.
It does feel like there's a lot of cogs turning at all points.
It's like the Harry Kane thing. He wants to go to Man City. They're saying, some astronomical prices, 160 million. There's being a professional, and then there's, if he says he had a gentleman's agreement or whatever it was, by where if they don't get into the Champions League or whatever the case may be, following season I want to leave. Yeah, okay, sweet. Yeah, nothing's been signed or whatever, but there's a conversation that's clearly been had, and then obviously they're making it too difficult for Man City to actually sign him.
Yeah,
and if I've made it clear that I want to go somewhere, it's no secret to anybody. He wants to go and win trophy, as he should. One of the best strikers in the world. Yeah. Why should he have to be, tied down? I mean, I suppose in a sense it's probably his fault for signing the contract, really and truly.
Yeah, of course.
Initially, but if there's going to be money on the table or whatever, I'd just be like, fuck you then, I'm not playing. I'm not coming training, I'm not playing. Find me all you want, I'm rich, I don't need the money. Whatever. Yeah,
that is exactly what Stephen described. He really did. He was saying he'd signed this contract, he didn't know what he sort of got himself into. They'd had a big falling out, and just because of the falling out, he wouldn't let him go because he was just being pedantic. Somebody's life at stake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got family.
Just let it go. If someone don't want to be there,
and you've got in your life, we do music and so on. We've got a big shelf life. We can carry on this for a long time, and as long as your mind stays with you, can keep writing. Football, you're very malleable. You've got a short time of it.
You better have a character outside of football.
Yeah,
that's the only way that you kind of get to stay in the game and survive it.
Yeah,
that's why the most unlikely people end up becoming the faces of footballers, like as we know it today. Who'd have thought Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are the guys?
How bloody good are they as well? So bloody good.
I love Roy Keane and Mika Richards. Roy Keane is just gold, mate. Honestly, did you see the Road to Wembley? With Mika Richards picks Roy Keane up, and it's like a 5-part thing. And
I've not watched it, mate. I've not watched it. Is it really good?
Oh, it's hilarious. Roy Keane's just stone faced. Doesn't change his facial expressions.
I watched a recent one. It was 50 questions with Gary Neville, and they go on a walk together with the dogs, and Gary asks him 50 questions really quick, and he has to answer them. And he's just so authentic, isn't he? He's so himself, and I love rawness and realness unfolding.
He's one of my favourite people, and Gordon Ramsay is one of my favourite people.
I
could just listen to the pair of them.
Well, I'm on Prime at the minute, Amazon Prime, and I've just gone back to all the. Was it Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares when he goes in to save them?
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a better show.
Oh, it's unreal,
I honestly don't think there's ever been a better. It's so gripping. All the time. The production value to that is so well done. And then it got me so invested. I'm looking at all these restaurants now in 2021, seeing how many survived, and there's a few. There's not many.
I never thought to do that, actually.
There's not many, but there's a few.
That's something I'd actually take some time to actually do.
I'm going to be fair. Honestly,
there's some bad ones,
dude. All you got to do, there's an article, and it not even just if they survived, but is it the same people? And all the ins and outs of what happened to them after that show, because a lot of it. was for entertainment purposes,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And they just created a great show. You can't change it really in a few weeks, can you? It's mentalities
Yeah,
now. You've got
everyone throws everybody under the bus every time, don't they? It's funny. It's funny to see.
Dude, I will binge watch that.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
One of them shows where you go, one more? Just one more?
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. And even with the Hell's Kitchen one,
yeah,
I just love watching like the reels of when he's like, "This fish is fucking raw. you, fuck off." It kills
when
me
he put that
every
girl
time.
with 2 buns on each side of her head, and he goes, "Tell me you're an idiot sandwich." I'm an idiot sandwich.
You fucking donkey.
Who thinks about that?
Have you seen the show with Gordon Ramsay, Gino D'Acampo, and
I've seen it advertised.
there's the guy there's another show that he's on, but apparently some international wine connoisseur.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I like him.
French guy. I forget what his name is. That's really funny.
Is it?
That's really funny. There's one where they go and have edibles, and Gino D'Acampo gets absolutely twisted on edibles.
Laughing his arse off.
Oh, it's unreal. Yeah.
Because imagine if they just had mad paranoia then.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Bless you. Here they go with spirals now.
I used to smoke weed. I smoked weed for about 13 years now.
Wow, nice work.
that was one of the reasons. The paranoia
that was me too, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I struggled with that a lot. But I didn't smoke a lot of weed. I just found myself smoking weed, and like one of my friends, even to this day, suffers with schizophrenia and stuff, and I watched it all unfold as he was getting more and more ill, and everyone's kind of and his name was Jordan as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone's put it down to him smoking weed, and he was really intelligent, and he used to rap as well, and he was sick.
I had psychosis and schizophrenia. I don't know how I got out of it because I was so close. They wanted to section me, like my mum and dad, because I had a breakup. Yeah. And again, I think I said before, but I really seek validation, or did. So when I got it in, actually, it was the first time I'd had my heart broken, because I was always sort of getting with girls and then running off, going travelling, whatever. But it was probably my first feeling of love. And I just did not take it well. Yeah. It was the end of everything for me. So I'd had a pretty active physical life. And we're talking probably 1920 here. Got back from travelling South Africa with her for a year. Came home. I worked in Thornton's because I just wanted more money to go away again.
Yeah.
I got home one day and it was just a letter on my bed. And she just said, "I've gone. You're not going to see me again." And no number, no nothing. I never spoke to her again. And it just it flipped me. So I got into substances, really the psychedelic route, weed and all that. And I had, it was like pro and paranoia. Because it was always, I needed people around, so I'd be on a drug fuel trip or something, but it was like me and somebody, so it's like me and my mate Jags, or me and whoever else, and I'd done like trips and stuff 15 times in a month.
Flipping it.
And but because I'd love in my heart for all the people around, I didn't question them at first, and I thought I built up are we going to build a retreat? Are we going to a commune? I got this weird, horrible God complex. It was awful, and I was building up a story. But then, as I started losing my mind, and the more the drugs, always taking, it went south, and I was like, maybe they're actually all against me. And have you seen the film Shutter Island?
Yeah.
I was so deeply engrossed in that ego part of yourself and making a story up. The moment that got me out of it, and this is literally the only thing, apart from I got tasered on LSD, and that's a long story. But even after that, I was still on but Mikey, duh. But the one moment, I'm so lucky I had this, is my grandma has been my saving grace through life, because I've had a tricky life. I've had a long uphill battle. I've not had much love, and people think we're rich, and we're really not. But there's just been not much love shown. But my grandma gave it me, and the second I thought she was against me, and she was going to poison me, or she would, whatever I thought, and something in me went, no. It was don't ever question her. She's the one that stayed. Honestly, it just sent me on a I got to sort my shit out.
Yeah,
I stopped doing all drugs completely.
That's sick there that you even, find yourself in a place where you had that moment of clarity.
Dude, it was so wild. I cried. I called up my mate. I said, "Listen, dude, I've even been scared of you a little bit. I'm gonna have to change my whole circle for a bit." And I just locked myself away. I stopped going out. I just wrote. All my music was very dark, but I was inside for 3-4 months. Went out a little bit, didn't trust people, but yeah, it's been years from that now, and I've got again myself, I've got my family together. I feel so good, but I went to the darkest depths I could imagine going, man. So yeah, I'm not an anti-drug guy. I think they probably have a place. I think really we've lost the war on drugs. I'd make them legal because there wouldn't be dark markets and people would know what they're doing. So when I go and have conversations with my friends or younger people, I try and give them the truth. I'm like, some people shouldn't because they've got problems darker and deeper that maybe they could confront through it. But there's other ways of doing it. So I think it's a great. It's about a 5-hour conversation.
No, because it's a really interesting conversation that I'd like to hear, because it's like. My thing is from the opposite side of it. I used to sell drugs. Yeah. So, not on a big scale or anything, and it was always out of necessity. Anytime I dip my toe in, I'd do a little bit of weed, a little bit of coke, just do my little bits on the
mate,
on the
I know
roads.
it all. I know it all.
Do you know what I mean? And so, I've always known it from the standpoint of running people down for money, or someone's dog getting kicked off and this person getting robbed, someone robbing me of this, or someone running off with some money, or me owing people money that I've lost, and all that side of it. Completely. But then you forget that you're doing all this just for personal gain for whatever reason, and forgetting that there's a completely different flip side to what. I mean, the people that are dealing with the things that you've gone through would have loved to have had the issues that people like myself have had. I've never made no big. I've got a lot of friends that have made a lot of money doing what they do, but I was never. I always did it out of necessity through struggle and things like that. And I never really liked. A lot of people, like nowadays, you find that people sell drugs just so they can tell you that they sell drugs. Do you get what I mean? There's people with good jobs that sell drugs just to be in some form of circles, to be able to have conversations, sit around the table and have them conversations like, oh, yeah, he owes me 10 grand. Yeah, I went and did this. And oh, do you want to go to Dubai? Do you want to go to Marbella? All them, everything's the same. Everyone's like a walking target for falsity, for falsity, for police, driving around in this car. Yeah, I get it if you're getting it in a certain way and whatever. But I think there's people that sell drugs. There's drug dealers and there's hustlers. Yeah, I think there's. Do you know what I mean? The people that sell drugs these days tend to do it for a form of validation. Yes. on some part. Because I remember there's a guy when I used to do my bits. I'll never forget. He came up to me one day, and I thought he wanted to come up. I thought he was approaching me to say, "Oh, have you got anything?" sort of thing. And he was like, "Bro, why are you doing this? He says, this ain't you. You're too much of a nice guy to do this." And I said, "I'm doing it because I need to. Yeah. No other reason." Lo and behold, from what I'm aware of, this guy that I'm talking about has a job, has a wife, has a kid, a little bit younger than me and whatever, driving around in a Range Rover, and he works on the railway and sells enough coke. Has his door kicked off and stuff all the time, gets caught with scales, baggies, grands in cash, just driving around all the time, he wants to be seen. And I just find it amazing that I remember that. I'll never forget that guy was the one that came up to me and said, "Well, how come you do this?" And at the time he didn't even used to take drugs, but it's all part of being. I mean, I put that down to people's use of social media then. I think that's a bit because they see all these little things and it seems like it's within arm's reach all the time. So they do all these little things that are out of character to put themselves in position so they can take that picture that they saw that they thought was cool, or go to that place and say that they went to that place because they got the money from doing this, and it's all for the wrong reasons. Do you know what I mean? I find it sounds really bad saying it. I feel like selling drugs ain't the same no more. I'm not trying to be an advocate for selling drugs, but it's all a bit of a farce.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's some people that really, really do that. Do you know what I mean? That's really part of who they are for whatever reason. It's all
really
tied into your upbringings and stuff.
I've never heard of that side of it before.
Yeah, people all of a sudden just
find it fascinating. We got on that precipice spin. I think it's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
and all the time they're going out their way to be seen in a certain light, and don't even consider the fact that people go through things like what you just said. And a lot of them now that sell drugs also take the drugs they sell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a wild conversation, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I think the approach that we've got with substances is a little bit too authoritarian. It's too direct. There's an enemy and we're going to police it and we're going to attack it. And I think what we should see it as on my side of the spin is a health problem.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to take compassion out of a health problem, because people that are on drugs are often trying to escape from something of the reality that they're living in.
Yeah.
And I do feel if drugs were more understood, more educated, we had people explaining quantities. Mate, take it away.
No, so you've just brought me to the realization. You saw one of my videos a few weeks back from like about 3 years ago. So I had this song called Truth. Yeah. And it was all based on a conversation I had in the studio.
Oh, it's a
and we was talking about
man.
all those things and whatever. And I was like, what if there was a drug that you could take that allowed you to see the world for what it actually is?
Yeah.
And I also had a conversation with another fellow rapper friend of mine, Casey the Rookie, and he used to tell me that, because I think he used to live in Germany for quite some time, and he says that he used to take drugs, but on a more experimental thing. And I remember him telling me about he was in some acid trip, and he was telling me about how he literally stepped into the Matrix and seen all these codes and all this madness. And but who's to say, right, with certain drugs that they aren't allowing you to see the actual reality of what what it is that you're living? Because outside of you experiencing what you can experience, there's no way that you can validate that anything other than what you can see is actually real. As I'm talking to you now, whatever's behind me doesn't exist.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who's to say
it's just vibration and pattern?
Yeah. Who's to say this isn't the drug?
Yeah.
Right now.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of how I believe. And if you're going to make a real stance and argument point on any form of drug, I think the psychedelic approach is one that you could really go down the path of now, because particularly through America, I don't know if you've seen this, but MMA fighters, and I think they're using American footballers, have a lot of CT, so head trauma. The cripple with it. And the common understanding with science is as soon as them neurons are switched off, it's game over. You don't get them back. Literally, there's a study just been conducted, and I think it was via Harvard. So it's looking progressive, but they're using magic mushrooms. They're using magic mushrooms on MMA fighters with CT and American footballers with CT. And I'm not making this stat up and numbers. I think it was like 86% have regenerated these neurons that had switched off.
It makes perfect sense, because anything that grows from the earth,
Amen, brother.
It's for us.
Like, and again, what I'm saying is, if we started talking about drugs on this level, we'd be able to get intellects and science backed behind it. And then you don't just get Mikey from Old Farm preaching about drugs or saying anything on the advocating or not advocating, but you get real honest conversations where people who are curious or want an understanding about drugs get to learn about them through much better sources. But we have to do it all underground now, and all through this weird sort of shady market way of doing it. And you have to go to Reddit or somewhere if you want to learn about how much you should take. So, dude, I wouldn't have been doing LSD 15 times in a month knowing what I know now. Because I've heard about psychosis, I've heard about schizophrenia, what can happen, but there's just, don't do it. Oh, I did it once, and actually I literally had the best night of my existence because and on a truth, because I was ready to, this is my story and I won't go all the way through it, but I was on suicide watch and I was so ready to tune out. I kind of got happier because I planned it and I knew what I was going to do. And this is 100% true, man. On that night, I read a Reddit thing and it said, before you do anything stupid, because I typed in easiest ways to die, and I was looking through loads of things, this one guy put, before you do anything stupid, why don't you try psychedelic? And I was like, I live in Ripley. I know where I can locate in a second. I'll be all right. So never done anything like that before. And I did. I went and located. I sat on my bed. My dad was sat across from me because he was watching me all the time. And that was pretty much the night where I was going to go bathroom and do it. I 100% promise you I mean that. And I popped. I took it. I told my dad, I said, Dad, you're going to have to go now. He went, why? I went, because I've done some LSD and your head's just turned into a pineapple. Shit, and I swear on my life I said that. But dude, I'll tell you just two things that happened that night and I've never forgotten. It meta-programmed everything about me. And the first one, I don't tell this in schools, by the way. This is my platform. But the first one was, I had basically an ego death. So I'm having this experience where I've just come to the realisation I'm definitely going to die.
Yeah.
So I'm ready, and everything's just dark. So I think, what do I want to die to? And I've got Blue the Bear on my arm from Jungle Book. I go, I'll put on the Jungle Book. That'll do me. So what happened was, I'm starting to die, and then as I put on the Jungle Book, I'm really conscious, like really aware of what they're saying, and it's when the bare necessities, and I look up and it looks a bit brighter, and then Blue the Bear goes into his breakdown, and he says this quote. I'll never forget it, and it sort of really accelerated my writing after this because I thought how powerful words can be. And he said, let me tell you something, little Bridget. And because I was so low after leaving this girl and struggling so much, I was looking for answers all the time. I was like, why didn't she love me? Why does nobody love me? Why has my life been this wreck? And he said, if you're looking for something that can't be found, when you find out you can live without it, go along not thinking about it. And I swear on my life, this visually happened, mate. I looked up and everything was bouncing. The room was beautiful, bright and incredible. And I got up and I just started dancing.
That's crazy.
And I was like, I don't want to die. There's something else. There's something else for me here. So the last little part of this was I got a picture of the girl that I was going out with. And I was so angry at her for doing what she did. And I remember looking at it, and again, that feeling of the room collapsing in and me gonna die again happened. And I'm like, oh, so angry. And I looked at the picture, and I swear on my life, she turned into like a devil face.
Oh shit!
Visually, I've gone to a very far part of the trip, and she's her form and her shape has turned, and I'm going, what is this? So then, as I'm getting like really upset from this, I'm just ready to go again. I say, Mikey, why are you so angry at her? She had reason to leave. It's not just like she was just horrible to you and that was it.
Yeah.
There was reason for her to go. She was a nice person. She was actually good heart. And as I started saying good words, the room turned again and everything went beautiful. And I went, from just changing the way I think, my whole reality turned. And they were the two things of that experience where I went, oh my God, this is so powerful. But that's the thing, because I didn't have knowledge on what could happen after, I got addicted to not the substance, but the feeling the substance gave. So I just went on I wanted everyone to try it then. I was like, come here, I've got this thing. And I was just being reckless and stupid with it, because there's no real information there. Do you know what I mean? I think, I really do think, and I don't advocate anything, I think professionals know a lot more than me, X, Y and Z, but you can only go on your truth of your existence and your story. And I can with mine, and that's something, it saved my life. It changed the way I think massively. but just don't get caught up in the like going down. Do you know what I mean?
No, I feel that.
Beautiful.
That's a crazy story, man.
Mad, innit?
That's a crazy story.
We got stories to tell, brother.
Trust me, man.
Dude, this podcast is going to be out tomorrow.
Oh, sick.
Because I've not had anyone in. I got the COVID about 2 months ago, and I had loads of people in lined up and done. And then the last one went out this Friday. You should watch that one, actually. Her name's Tiffany, and she's in the Circle of Light.
Do you know what? I think I might have followed her recently.
Oh, dude, she's so lovely. So cool. And we're looking at...
Small blonde girl?
Yeah. Awesome person.
Yeah, I've seen that she was in the Circle of Light.
And she's actually... I think she's been becoming one of the directors for it as well.
Wicked.
She's taking on the bigger approach, and we're going to do a little 20-minute podcast together called He Said, She Said.
All right.
So we can have a female perspective, male, and talk about those issues that I was telling you off air. But because I've got to edit this one tonight, we could do 3-4 hours. We could do a Joe Rogan together. I know that. But we're nearly 2 hours 20 in.
Seriously?
And I'm thinking, bless me. I'm going to be up till midnight now.
That's crazy.
But
that's crazy.
Honestly, brother, do you know, if you wanted to do something on this merit and do a little podcast series, because all we'd have to do is meet up on a day, do 4 topics, and then we'll have a month for content.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love to talk to you about that.
I can't believe that amount of time's gone. That's
it's
crazy.
It's crazy, man. I've absolutely loved this. But
man.
you are a really awesome human, and you've got your music side to tell me about. I'm going to ask you in a minute, like, where people can find your stuff and what you've got coming up. But I just want to say thank you, because
thank you, man. Thank you. It's everything that I expected it to be, because, like I was saying to you, I've watched you things like on numerous occasions.
Bless you, man.
And before coming here, I felt like I already knew you a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
have you not been told that before by people? I feel like you have that thing about you where people kind of familiarise themselves with you before you've even...
Not on the podcast, but at events.
Yeah. No, it don't surprise me at all.
It's funny, you go out, don't you? And I bet you get it. People will come up to you.
Yeah.
Because you're a face out there, whatever you're doing, and they talk to you like they know you.
Yeah.
And you do have to take a minute. You go, sorry, am I being rude, or do we know each other? And then they go, no, I've just been watching this and that. And you go, oh, thank God, because I don't want to be a dickhead. So, honestly, man, if you have any time coming up, I think there's collaborations to be had.
Definitely.
But, like I say, you've got a shitload on at the minute, and I respect the hell out of it. So tell the audience and so on, what they can find of and expect of you, and where they can find it.
So music wise, I mean, obviously, as you know, I rap.
We will have to do another podcast though to talk about that, because it's fucking awesome.
That's something in itself.
Whole
even
new episode.
How it started, family members that tie into. Yeah, it's crazy. But I'm on that whenever.
Yeah.
So I've got a new project coming out. The project's called God Body Tapestry.
Dude, it's freaking good.
Gone back to just bars, just trying to be a bad motherfucker, basically.
But the instrumental's very...
So that's me, that's myself and Claude Money. So previously I had a project last year that came out called Joyce. So Joyce was my nana. So I named it after her, and there was 5 songs, and it was like a jazz EP. So each song referenced a different female in my life.
Wow.
So one was so it was named after my mum's mum. I've got a song about my dad's mum called Little Miss Sunshine.
Wow.
That's what they used to call her in church. She used to go to the 7-day Adventist church on Wells Road in St Anne's, and she was like a big personality.
Yeah.
And in Jamaica, about when it comes to like people of like a small stature that have big personality, there's a saying. It's so the saying is, she little but she talawa. So it's like she's small, but she lights up the room. And in church, her nickname was Little Miss Sunshine.
Nice.
So I made that song. Lovely. I absolutely adore that song. And got a song with my daughter on it. Me and my daughter go back to back on a song. It's about her.
Wow.
And then
how old's your daughter?
Just turned 5.
Wow.
Just turned 5. So she was 3 when she did this.
So cool.
And then the other ones are just a couple of different women in my life that just to reference, and it was a beautiful piece. And we actually did a live rendition of the entire EP at Mount Street
Cool, with Charlie.
Yeah, and we filmed it all. So we've got a video for each individual song. So the idea was initially to use that as a means of distributing things to promoters for festivals.
Yeah.
Obviously, COVID comes along, kicks everyone's ass.
Yeah.
We're still going to try and do something with it, but we've got another project coming up where we've got a collaboration with a clothing brand in Amsterdam through our friends in Marbella. So my producer Claude Money, who's also my business partner from Boom for Real, alongside Oscar. Rudy, who's another singer. So we've got our own label, which we also offer different services. Mainly it's for Club Money's mixing and mastering skills, Oscar's songwriting. I might get a little bit of ghostwriting in there if there's any rappers that want to come with some serious money, but you're not getting verses for cheap, mate. You know what I mean?
Dude.
And we just got a publishing deal with a label called Horus. So the Joyce thing is actually going to be put out through them first, even though we've already put it out last year, and just try and get it to grow a few more legs, really.
Wow.
So we're just going to try and rework that again. And so now coming up on, it's actually been pushed back to the 30th of August, this Godbody Tapestry project, 8 songs. No, I've got no features on it. I'm just kicking ass, just all the way through. Just bars on these crazy mad loops that Club Money's found. I mean, he's a genius, mate, honestly. And obviously you've listened to it, so we've inserted a lot of like little comedy segments from films and stuff like that. And in this kind of new age underground rap, it's like those old school nuances of like comedy and them things that you would reference if you've got a certain sense of humour. Things that we like to throw in there quite often. There's a lot of Will Ferrell in my things. I think he's fucking hilarious.
Oh, he's great, isn't he? Fucking love you, man. I could honestly do. This podcast could be forever, because then you're going down film route, and I love film more than anything.
Stop.
So,
we'll just have to do a part 2. We'll have to do a part 2.
That's
we'll have
wicked,
to do a part
man.
2, man. Sell tickets for it. How about that
this
one?
has been your first bloody podcast as well.
I know.
Fucking hell. You're born to podcast. You are literally born for this, dude. What an incredible guy.
Man. Appreciate it, man.
Again, just to reiterate, where can they find you? On
Instagram, it's Online Littles. On Twitter, it's Littles Online. So, just reverse the Online Littles.
Do you have a website? Yeah.
So we've got boomforreal.com. That's currently under construction. It's our first website for our company. It's these guys that kind of steer the ship for that. I am one of the directors, but these guys kind of carry me. I'm not even gonna lie.
Wow. Yeah, that's mate. You're aware of self. That's the most important part of life.
So that's going to be that's definitely underway. That's definitely going to be something that people can see for certain services, from studio time to mixing, mastering, songwriting, and things of that nature.
Mate.
I've also got a football podcast called Do You Know Ball? Again, we're in the early days, but it's something that we're just going to run with. And again,
you should if you do have guests and stuff on, a few other people, I'll give you a couple of contacts, but the Project Zeus boys, who I do podcast called Series of Theories, and we ask the big questions. The one I'll send to you is the have we lost the war on drugs? I think we went to about 40-minute depth on that, and it was really good. But Josh and Sam, they're with Tiff in the band. They love their football, and Sam, I think particularly, would encyclopedia with you. He'd know everything. It's just we did the one before the Euros. We were talking about the England team, our best England team, X, Y, and Z, and I just was in awe of how much this man knows about football. It gives me a come up when some people are passionate about something. My heart's sold. I'm going, just enlighten me.
It's a good feeling, man. Especially if you can relate to it as well. Do you know what I mean? It just makes it that bit more special. Do you know what I mean? But man,
dude. I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you, man. Can I just give a few shout outs? So first of all, shout out to the man I'm each and every time. Insight Community Project. Look out for us with that. Also, that's another place that you can kind of catch other things that I do. So Insight Community Project on Instagram. I've got a friend who's just started a new cookie dough baking company called Pearl's Pantry.
Sick.
Next time I come, I'll bring you some.
Really?
Honestly, unreal.
Next level.
Unreal. Like, it was my cousin's wedding last week, and he did some for the wedding, and it was just unreal.
Wow.
Shouts out to my mum, my sisters, my daughter, the other half. Boom for Real. hip hop, Nottingham.
Mate, I
Yeah,
need
man.
to take some leaves out of your book, because when I do talks or do whatever, I don't give enough credit to all those people that made us who we are today.
Well, that's the thing. I come from Nottingham, and you have to understand, there's a common misconception with Nottingham. It is a very crabs in the barrel mentality. People, especially in rap, definitely for sure. Anybody will tell you, people don't really like to see the other person getting to where it is that they want to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've had that with many people, many artists. I think that's that's a bit of the fuel for this new project, in a sense. Not that I've got anything against anyone, but I know there's, you know how people are, you know, that whole throwing shade, hating type behavior, and that's kind of a fuel to my fire to just kick ass when I'm rapping.
And
in a minute.
the weirdest thing with people is when you're on the way up, they're kind of there and they want to support the hell out of you, because they're like, oh, bless him, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
You get somewhere and they go, not that far though.
Exactly.
It's weird. I've definitely had that in my life, man.
So yeah, you have to just, you know,
Take
you
it.
you can't take people's shine. Just watch them glow and just acknowledge it.
Is that one of
Especially
your
for your
bars?
mates. It is one of my bars.
Yeah, I knew it. I
You've
love
been
it. I
listening.
love
You've
it.
been listening. But it's true. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me here, man. It's
Guys,
been sick. Yeah, man.
You've been a part of the Old Farm Bus, Back of the Bus Sessions podcast, and I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been sick, man.
Thank
honestly.
you so much for being
man.
here. What do I leave you on? What do we say every time? Be nice to one another, you beautiful set of buggers. All you got to do, just be nice. Game over. See you soon, guys.
Safe.
They love.